It is time for a corner chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. Welcome to everyone tuning in right now on your power station Energy 100. I'm your hostess, Elsie Timnyani, and yes, we do have Mr. Daniel Steinman himself in studio talking about policy and economics. Welcome.
Thank you, Elsie, and a good day to all our listeners. Elsie, you will remember that we spoke about policy last week.
Yeah.
But I used two examples, the water in the Kunene and the water in the Orange.
Yes.
And I used those as an example of foreign policy. Now, something happened in this week. I was called by a listener. And that doesn't happen every week. You know, and this person, young man, student, asked me, please, won't you talk a bit more about policy? And I said to him, well, exactly what? You know, policy is policy. He said, no. To the guy in the street, it's not visible, it's not obvious how you move from where a political decision is taken to get that onto a document and to get it to an agency for execution. You know, it's not something that you see. And then when he spoke to me, I realized, yeah, he's actually quite right.
Yeah, he is.
You know, it's not a visible process. You hear about certain elements in that process, but you never see the whole thing. So that's the reason why I picked three items that I deem are important and that all fit under the umbrella topic policy. And they will eventually, all three of them will illustrate or demonstrate the same thing, the same concept.
Yeah.
The first one that I chose is policy and the budget. And the reason why I chose that is because I deem the national budget to be the most important policy
Indeed.
of the government of Namibia. You know, nothing else. We're not in wartime, so it's only in during war where you go to martial law that all your other laws are suspended. That may be more important than budget.
Yeah.
But for us, for the last 35 years, the most important thing is budget. And for you and I in our daily lives, the most important thing, or the direct impact that we experience from the way that the government executes its policy is through the national budget. Now, there's a step-by-step process, and I'm going to explain it briefly, and then in the second and third part of our talk today, I will look at other areas of policy where the same process applies, so that if you understand the one example, I want to call it, then you realize all policy is designed and implemented in the same way. So let's take the national budget. It is put together by a budget team. It's about 200 individuals, and few people realize that there are so many heads working on the national budget, and these comprise people from the National Planning Commission and people from the Ministry of Finance, with a few technical experts who act as consultants from the Bank of Namibia. But it is this group of people that work on the national budget. Until 2003, we designed, or the National Planning Commission designed the budget on its own. And then in 2002, it was decided, again a policy decision, approved by Cabinet, that we adopt the medium-term expenditure framework, the so-called 3-year rolling budget of the International Monetary Fund. So 2003 marked the point at which it was applied for the very first time. Now, this is all very well when you talk about the technical side of putting together a budget. I mean, it's complicated, but it is not rocket science. You've got a good idea of how much money you're going to have available, and you have a good idea of how many bases you need to cover, all the functions of the government and its agencies. So the question becomes, how do you slice it up? who gets what. And that's the policy side. And that is basically, the directive comes from Cabinet. The Cabinet has to approve it first. So the 31 or 32 people in the Cabinet, they have to agree on this is the way that we want to slice up the national budget. The Planning Commission will tell them in the report, look, we think we're going to get about 78 billion Namibia dollar in, and if we look at it roughly, we will spend about 92 billion Namibia dollar. Now immediately you see in there's a shortfall.
Yeah.
And this all's become part of policy. So Cabinet then decides we want to allocate a certain percentage to education. And we want to allocate a certain percentage to health. And then to all the others. And eventually, after all of this has been taken care of, there's a little bit that stays over, and with that we want to build half a bridge. Because there never stays over enough to build a whole bridge.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm
no, but it's true.
That is where the policy is designed. From there, it goes back to the Ministry of Finance, National Planning Commission, and then they start designing the detail, the allocations. And then it becomes what we call an appropriation bill. And that bill goes to Parliament. And before Parliament has not, or until Parliament has not approved that bill by a majority vote, it doesn't become budget.
Yes.
So do you see the steps? From National Planning Commission and its advisors to Cabinet. Cabinet take the decisions on what it is that we want to achieve, send it back to National Planning Commission. They do the detailed allocation. They say this is how we can dish it out, or how we can cut it up. And this is the shortfall that we anticipate we're going to have. They draft the bill. It goes to Parliament. Parliament has to approve it. It is gazetted. And only then does it become budget. And often you hear these talks, the ministries, they've run into a financing standstill, but as from tomorrow or as from Friday, they will have funds again. It happens, but it's over-exaggerated. But that is the process.
Let's go for a quick short break.